Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and I have a card project for you in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is very important to me. I am using some new products from Trinity Stamps. This is the layered support ribbon. I'm making a breast cancer awareness ribbon, but you could do any support ribbon. And then I have the Hope Simply Sentimental dies and stamp set along with the A2 modern embossed rectangles. So I cut all the pieces of the ribbon from the same pink cardstock because I tried to cut it out of layered cardstock, like different colors of pink, and I just found that the shades were a little bit too different. On the back of the packaging, it kind of separates the different pieces into a light, a mid-tone, and a dark. And so I've just separated these on my waffle flower grip mat, and I'm going over them with the exact same shade of ink. Just to add a little bit of variation. At the very end, I am going to come in with an alcohol marker to add some really quick shading right in the creases where it would be darkest, but you wouldn't have to. You could absolutely just do the ink blending like I did, or just use different shades of the same color of cardstock. All of that would work. I wanted to make a breast cancer awareness card because when my oldest son was very young, I think he was about 2, my mother-in-law got breast cancer, and she has been the biggest supporter of me as a crafter for many years. From the time I was pregnant with him, she started going to craft shows with me. I was doing like 14 shows a year, and she was going to every single one of them and helping me out and cheering me on. And so she's amazing and such a hugely important person in my life. And I wanted to make this card to honor her. She survived breast cancer. And then fun fact, so Malcolm was 2, I want to say, and when she lost all her hair, we told him to start calling her Pretty Nana. So now my boys are almost 9 and almost 6, and they still call her Pretty Nana. We all call her Pretty Nana. So yeah, so that's Robin. She's amazing. And I was thinking about her the entire time I was making this card. For a background, I wanted to keep it simple, and I am coming in with some black distress ink, and I sprayed that onto my stencil mat and just added a whole bunch of water to try to get it to move. And then I'm dipping a piece of watercolor cardstock into that, just along the bottom. And in between each layer of ink, I am drying it. I really want that sort of speckled watercolor look. And then at the end here, I am going to come in just with my blending buddy and darken up the bottom of it a little bit. But I wanted to give it a little bit of texture and something in the background, but nothing that was really going to detract from the message of the card. Then I have some black acrylic paint that I have watered down a little bit, and I'm going to flick that onto my card as well. And then I'll cut the whole panel out with the second largest of the A2 layers from the modern embossed rectangles set. I am going to tape that down really well, just because it is kind of warped from all that water. And at one point I ran it through my laminator as well, just to try to flatten it out a little bit. So I have my support ribbon, and then I have this Hope that I have cut out of the Simply Sentimental die set. And I'm going to layer that up. I'm going to have them 2 deep for each of them because that ribbon has a lot of texture, a little bit of height, and I wanted them to match. And then I also cut out a template for my words. Since they're individual letters, I cut out the shadow layer and the letters, like the word itself, from that shadow layer, just so I could get the spacing of them correct and to try to help me get everything straight on my card. I have some rip and stick sheets on the backs of these letters, so it makes it really easy. Though, a heads up on the H, the middle line of the H is not exactly in the middle. It kind of looks like it is, but when you go to layer it up, you'll notice. So double check and make sure you know sort of which way to layer that, both as you're maybe layering one black letter on top of the other, or as you're layering it into the template there. And once I get everything laid down, I will just use my pickup stick and sort of peel up that template and remove that from my card. And then I'll press everything down into place, and it's not going anywhere. Then I'm going to grab the coordinating stamp set. I wanted to add an additional greeting to go with this. And so this one says always keep, and there's tons of different sentiments that you can add to go with the Hope wording. There's hope is never giving up, hope to see you soon, hope anchors the soul, faith, hope, and love. Just tons of really, really great sentiments. So it wouldn't have to be just for breast cancer awareness. And I'm going to stamp that down a couple of times. I switched inks at one point. I wanted a nice dark black. And so I switched to a pigment ink, and that really helped there. Then I have added some thin foam tape like all over the back of this because, again, there is a little bit of warping to that panel. And then I'll add some wet glue to help me get it centered on my card base. And we'll just have that little 1/8 inch border all the way around the edge of that panel. And then I'll flip it over. I'm so afraid when I get like this far into a card that I'm going to mess it up, and I didn't want to smear that Always Keep. And this ribbon fits so beautifully around the hope. I mean, obviously they were designed together, but I don't often get to play with products that work this well in concert with each other, even when they're designed to go together. So I was super thrilled about that. And then I am just coming in with a couple of alcohol markers. I'm not even going to do a whole lot. I used the same cardstock off camera and sort of swiped to see how much darker the ink was going to be. And I am just coming in right where like the creases are, where the edge of the die cuts are, and flicking, right? So that it feathers out. It's darkest right along the edge of the die cut, and then lighter as you get towards the center of the die cut. And I think it just adds another little layer of dimension to our ribbon. If you didn't want to use markers, you could also just use your ink blending tools to darken those areas before you put the die cut together, which is really sort of the genius of this ribbon. I hope you've enjoyed this project. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.